Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tosin Adeyemi, and I welcome you to another interesting episode of Eyes Peculiar Youth on Eyes of Africa TV. And I hope you enjoyed last week's session. I believe you all enjoyed it and learned something. Today, I have brought to you a special guest, and today we'll be speaking on overcoming depression, but we'll be focusing on the youth, the younger ones. Yeah, that's our main focus for today. And our guest is here, Mr. Adebowale Olufemi Samuel. He is an experienced certified professional counselor and a psychotherapist. So you're welcome, sir. It's good to have you. Thanks for
Thank you
honoring
very
our
much.
invitation. Thank you very much.
It's a
Now,
pleasure to be here.
depression, yeah, depression, yes. I believe depression is one of the major factors for suicide and self-harm, and it's most common. It's common among youth, mostly youth. You hear stories
Yes.
of a teenager or a youth drinking poison or salt, taking insecticides out of depression. But today we'll be talking about the causes of depression among youth. We're talking about the symptoms and also the solution, because sure, there must be a solution to depression. So, sir,
Absolutely.
I want to ask, what do we mean by, okay, what does it mean to be depressed? Let me start
Okay,
with
so
that.
to be depressed is to have a mental health um, symptoms. So depression is not a feeling. Depression is a mental health disorder, that locks people out of real life. And eventually, when it gets chronic, it makes them suicidal and they take their lives. I'll say it again. Depression is not a feeling. Depression is a state of the mind,
State of the
and it's
mind.
a mental health disorder. Now, so if you come
Mm.
to me and say you're depressed, I'd have to first assess you to know how depressed are you. So there's a difference between feeling depressed and being actually depressed. Yes, you can feel depressed because you've seen something, but when you're actually depressed, it's a different ball game entirely. That is when you lose focus to life. You walk out of friendship. Everything seems valueless to you, and you want to be by yourself. You have loved the rhythm, the passion to keep driving through life. And there are symptoms to it, basically. So
Mm.
if I touch on the symptom, I would say one of the major symptom is losing excitement in previously pleasurable activities. So if you find someone that what they used to do before, they used to be very outgoing, going for events, and they stop going, they start being indoors. It is one. Then there are other symptoms too. When somebody is now, it is depression is on a flex. It's either the positive or the negative one. Now, what I mean is, you find some people that are extremely happy, overly excited over things, it causes for concern. And people that are not, nothing excites them anymore, not sound, not music, not people, they are also there too as well. Now, when you find people that eat too much, that just eat, so I've had clients where when she starts eating excessively, she just said, I think I'm getting to this phase again. And there are some that they lose appetite, they don't want to eat anymore. No, I'm saying this in simple terms so that people can relate to it. Now, what causes disorder? Firstly, is disease and ailment, um, probably ailments that are long-term ailments like cancer, like hypertension, like high blood pressure, like being sickle celled. These are things that they don't just go once when it's treated. So whoever has them, it can be a trigger once they start thinking of their life. Why am I sickle celled? Why am I having this disease? Why do I have this cancer? Things that can trigger it. Health issues can trigger depression, and then
Depression.
loss of life. Loss of life can can trigger depression when you've lost loved ones. The grief processing. Of course, when you have failed at time, probably you failed in school, you've had a carryover extra year, things that can cause depression, basic things that we need to that basic things that terminate human excitement. But instead of us being able to deal with it and know that this is just a phase of my life, I'm still moving on, we lose focus, we lose strength, and we feel this is the end. This is where it all ends. So the end point of depression, most often than none, is suicide. So this is the point where people want to take
Okay,
their own life. Like at this
okay, okay. From what you just, okay, are you, from what you just said now, he said there are
point,
two forms of the, sorry, sir,
I'm with you.
I'm trying to get something clear here. From what you just said, you said, should we say there we have two types of depression, maybe major on and minor. So you said it's in two forms. You need to unmute your
Uh,
mic.
yeah, major and
Okay.
minor. Absolutely, yes. There are
Minor.
major and minor. Yes. So the major causes of depression are long-term ailment, like I've said, loss of loved ones, grief, you know,
Loved ones.
sudden accidents, life issues that happen and terminate the course of a person's being. Yeah. But the other minor ones are basic things that people lose excitement of. Probably you failed an exam, or you suffered a breakup and all of that. Now, both major and minor can lead to chronic depression if the depressed person doesn't properly manage it. So that's why for me, I say it together, because at the end of the day, it might be a minor cause, and whoever the depressed person is may have resigned to fate and say, okay, I think this is the end. Of course, there are major causes as well. So those are both examples of major and minor causes of depression. Are you there? And after knowing the major and minor causes of depression, there's one thing I actually let people know, that when you are depressed, part of the things you can do, I'll reel them out now so we can also, part of the things you can do when you find someone around you depressed is to be around them. They are not meant to be left alone, because being left alone or in that state of mind can draw them back to taking their own lives. So when you find people or that are depressed, one of the first thing is disconnecting from their emotional and physical environment. You reconnect them back. And that's why I tell people that it is all our duty to look out for everyone around us that is depressed, so we can help them. Because at the end of the day, the people that are depressed do not see beyond where they are. So that's one. And then some other ways of handling them is asking a professional counselor to speak with them. And then of course, the other ways is for them to know there are two treatments for depression. It's either talk therapy or medication. But first, I would advise that a
So,
talk therapy is done so that we can know the
okay.
cause. Once we know the cause, then we know if we should bring in medications, because and that really helps. So it's not like when you want to
How
treat
how do they
depression,
go
just
about
go.
that? The top therapy.
The talk
How do
therapy
you do
is
that?
to speak to
Yes.
a professional counselor, myself and my
Okay.
colleagues in
Talk.
the field of
Talk.
professional counseling.
Okay.
We run a
Okay.
basic assessment. We run a basic assessment to be certain if the person is really depressed and the cause or the trigger of the depression. Because when you know the trigger of the depression, then you can get rid of the depression. But when it's at the chronic stage, even when the trigger has been taken care of, because that person has fallen into that depressed state of mind, it's always hard, challenging, to bounce back. So that's why we ask that let everybody be on the lookout. Fine, we have professional counselors now in Nigeria, but we cannot do these things by ourselves. So that's why we need you, and you watching this to please be on the lookout. Once you find someone in that state of mind, report to us. Let us know and let us be of help. We run a basic assessment to know what the cause is, what is making the person depressed, and what the likely solution will be. Even if it's a chronic stage, there also can be a turnaround. There is always a solution to it. And I would like to tell young people that in whatever case you find yourself or whatever situation, it is not the end of the road. Actually, get rid of that mindset, expound it. It is not the end of the road. It is just a phase, a time, and time would pass, and that time will go. it it is in this generation that we find a lot of young people rapidly resigning to fate because they failed an exam or they failed a test. And then, of course, the reason why you find these people resign to fate is because they have been abused. There's something called verbal abuse and emotional abuse. So when a child fails, or a young person fails, I'm saying this now to the parent, you go see your mates, you have failed, you're verbally abusing that person. It gets to the child's emotion, and the child can think so bad of his or herself, lose self-esteem, and take his or her own
Es-
life.
Especially when you start comparing the child to another
To other
child.
children, yes, and that's one of the
Yes.
reasons why young people today take their own lives. You don't have the same life with the next person. Even if you have lose your job and there's
Sure.
no fund coming, it's a phase. It will definitely go. It will definitely change. So that's one thing I would like to leave out again. I would like to take questions, more questions as we go. I'm here.
Okay. So which age group has the highest rate of depression?
Between 13 and 35, those are the age group of people prone to depression, young people. And of course, beside young
13
people,
to 35.
yeah, beside young people, the other category of people that are prone to depression is number one on the list is the men. Men. Because men
Mm.
are emotional but not expressive. We don't talk about it. We bottle a whole lot of things up. That's why in the world today we have more widows than widowers, because married men die earlier than their wives. So we have like 80% widows to 20% widowers. And that's one of the reasons why we ask men to speak up. If you visit any psychiatric home now, the largest number of patients there are men. From research, from statistics, it has been that way over time. And also, the next category of people that are prone to it are people that have lost their identity through sexual abuse or sexual struggles. Those are the LGBTQ categories of people. They are the other set of people prone to depression because there's an ongoing struggle of identity in their head, trying to find who they are, what they are, then trying to fit in into a society that has refused to accept their way of life and their ideology. So those are the two major categories. Of course, we have women that go through depression and all, but the percentage is not as high for the men because women are emotional and are verbal. They talk about things. That's why you find a women group thrive more than a men group. They will do events, they will do stuff, they will talk. If you get a one angry, she'll come to you and say, "I've done this for me." It's not fair. At least a larger number of them, maybe not every one of them.
Mm.
So those are the categories of people that are prone to depression. I would like to go over what I've said earlier. Causes of depression, major and minor. Minor are
Okay.
um defects in daily activities, failure, breakups, and all of that. But the major ones are terminal diseases, long-term diseases, and ailments that makes people feel that okay, it's because I am healed, and then loss and grief. Majorly loss, because when somebody loses a loved one, it might change the course of their life. So those are the categories of the major. There are two major and minor categories, of course. And like I said earlier, one of the best ways to be certain is speak to a counselor to even know if the person is depressed, to figure out the cause, and then the treatment can be done. And it's done with talk therapy. We talk about it. So for everyone out there that is struggling with depression, one thing I would like you to know is that it is not your fault. You are not to blame, but it is still your life. We need you to stay up and hang on, but you need to talk to someone about it. You need to open up your heart and share. And because once you start talking about it, you're on your road to getting healed and getting whole. I can guarantee you that it doesn't happen in a day, because people do not get depressed in 1 day or 2 days. Now, depression actually is also an accumulation of bad events or negative trends in someone's life undealt with. So when something bad happens to you, talk about it, deal with it. Don't let it stay at the back of your mind. Don't say, "Let me just leave it there." express it. If somebody has done some wrong to you, tell them. Always have an habit of exhaling, emptying your mind. No, I would now
Express
give you
yourself.
an analysis of how people, or of what happens when people are depressed. When you get a glass cup, no, let me say a food container, and you keep filling it with food. Okay, let me not
Okay.
use that. Let me even use a balloon. It's easy that way. When you pick a balloon and you blow it, you keep getting big, big, big. At some point, what happens? It breaks. When it breaks, it shows
Yes.
that the balloon can no longer contain the capacity of the air that goes into it, and it breaks. So your mind is a balloon. So when you keep stuffing it with negative issues, you keep inflating. The moment you are going towards breaking is when depression starting. The moment it bursts is when the person becomes psychotic. Do we get that analysis? So don't wait till when you start expanding, or when your balloon start having stretch marks and can't go back to the normal size. When you blow it a little, you empty it. So like we say, that it's not only when you have major issues that you speak to someone or a counselor. When you have minor issues, speak to someone as well. Learn to speak up. It is very important. The more you speak up and you share regularly, the better it is. Like one of the things we say is, for workplace now, or for a regular person, at least speak to a counselor twice a month. Talk to someone. This is what I feel. This is what is making me feel bad. Empty your mind. Once you do that, you get help, you move on. And then,
Can you also
and that's
speak
one
to
of,
your parents, maybe your relatives?
yeah, if you have parents
In
and
case it's
relatives that are receptive to
relatives.
listening to you, you can't just talk to
Okay.
anybody, but there should be that person around you that will listen to you and help you. You can't just talk to anybody at random. That's the truth. You get the gist. You need to find out the right people to speak with.
To speak with. That's true.
So sometimes your
Okay.
parents might not be those people. Your relatives might not be those people. It might just be a friend that can listen. So, and these are how do you know the people you can speak to? People that would naturally want to listen to you and will be concerned. And of course, one of the things I do is I leave my phone lines open. So if anybody wants to talk, you call me, I listen to you, and then we'll see what we can do about it. So having said that,
Okay.
having said that, I also want people that are depressed to know that it is your duty to take care of yourself. At the end of the day, it is your life. Let me tell you one bitter truth. If you die, life will go on. That's the truth.
Sure. Sure.
And I tell people
Sure.
that are depressed, at the end of the day, the ball is in your court. We cannot help you until you want to be helped. You get the gist. We can't help you until you want to be helped. So this is what I mean.
Yes.
When you come for counseling, I would ask you, why are you here? What do you need? Do you think you are ready to get help? Most times, some people say no, and they will leave, and then they will come back when they think they are ready. Because I can't help you until your heart is open and you are willing to get the help. Help is hard work. Help is pain. Whatever you have gone through, it is always even more painful to talk about them and get rid of them. Like we say, recovery is painful, but it's a process that guarantees that you'll be fine after all. So I would say the way it is, recovery is hard. Recovery is not child's play. But if you are willing to go all the way, you are bold enough, with all your hands, will guide you through. Because see, pain, trauma is part of life. Depression is part of life. People go through it every day. Before we came around, some people had gone through it. After we had gone, some others will go. But then what is important to you is how you deal with it and handle it. And that's the point. How do you deal with these things? So I'd like to take questions, and if anyone has questions, we'll pick it from there.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. I would like to ask, because there's someone that has a question here that said, I lack parental support. Like someone, the career he chose is not what his parents is in support. They are not in support of it. So, and he's really
Okay.
depressed. In fact, it's really affecting him at school. He's even planning of stopping his education. So he needs help. Doesn't know what to do, how to convince his parents. His parents are not supporting him in any way, and he's feeling so depressed. So, what advice do you have for such person?
Well, as counselors, we don't advise actually, but then it's wise for me to find out what course exactly is doing and what exactly does the parent have against it. Then from there, we can figure out a middle ground for him, what to do. Because we need to have both informations. Like, let's assume you're studying theater arts, your parent is not supporting you, and if you feel that you really want to do theater arts, so how can we convince your parent? Is there someone that is old enough to speak to your parent that they would listen to? That don't know, this course is okay. Oh, let him do it to support him. Oh. You know, as cultural as we may be, we also apply that too. And if it's a course that, and why are your parents not happy with you having this course? Because I tell you, there are so many young people out there today that are doing things that their parents are not happy with, and they are disobeying their parents. And ordinarily in the
Hmm.
Yoruba culture, in the African culture, we're first meant to honor our parents so that when they pray for us, the prayer works. But at the same time,
Yeah.
there's some parents that are not what honoring as well. So I can't say on this live show what the course is, except this person calls me after now, so we can access the case together. And that's one peculiarity. That's something peculiar about professional counseling. It's not just, I've had it a lot of times that on shows, on TVs, on radios, they'll ask questions. So, what do you advise? And do this, we don't advise, but I need to know what happens both ways, so we can now figure
Okay.
out what to do. Because at the end
Okay.
of the day, it might be the young person that has an issue that we need to deal with. It might not even be the parent. So we need to access what the situation is, and then we work on it. But at the end of the day, I think this person needs to reassess his life, check the potentials in the course, check if this course you are doing in Nigeria, in our economy of today, does it work, or in whatever country you may be. Is it bankable? Is it profitable? Is it thriving? Is it stable enough? Is it a course that most organizations accept graduates from? If you think it's, don't do a course where at the end of the day when you graduate it doesn't work, except you want to leave this country and go to other developing countries that accept it and works with it. So at the end of the day, we need to figure that out too.
Okay. Thank you very much. Aside contacting counselors, do we have any natural treatment or remedy for depression?
I said it earlier, talk to someone about at every issue you have. Let somebody know. Don't bottle
You
things up in your
must talk
mind.
to someone.
Your mind is not
Okay.
an archive of bad things. Yes, always tell someone how you feel, what you feel, and of course, deliberately work against those negative feelings. So if you feel angry, someone has hurt you and you have told them, and it's that point you deliberately let it go. You deliberately forgive the person. The reason why people feel pain and they are depressed is because they have refused to forgive. They still hold on to the pain. The pain is causing you harm, not the other person. So release the pain, release yourself from danger and from harm, and move on and be fine.
Hmm. That they need to speak to someone. Okay, they need to talk to
Yes.
someone. So how do they get in touch with counselors, professional counselors to talk to?
Well, we have the African network of of professional counselors. We have attitude development international where I belong to. So I could leave a phone line here that you can call. So I can help to redirect anybody that calls that needs help. You can do that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for that. Okay,
You're
before
welcome, ma.
you go, can you please call the phone lines?
Okay, just one phone line: 080
Yeah. Okay.
59
59
44
44
08
08
85.
85. Okay,
5944
so
0885.
594408. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Before we call it a day, is there
And
anything you want to
excuse me,
say
ma.
to everyone? Okay.
Okay, for that line first, it's to WhatsApp only. Just send me a WhatsApp message or a text, then I will,
Message.
and then I would redirect you to whoever can help you. Okay, so finally, I'd love to say to you that at the end of the day, it is your life and nobody can live it for you. And pain, depression, trauma is part of life, but we are designed and wired to overcome them. That's the truth. So if you're going through issues in life that is hurting you, paining you in your heart, you first need to forgive whoever is involved so that you can live a good life. And then from there, speak to a counselor.
Okay.
Don't let that bad seed stay in you for a long time, because at the end of the day, when the bad seed stays in you for a long time, it grows, it germinates, and it becomes horrible planting in your life. And that's one thing I want you to do. You are 100% responsible for your mental health. I say it all the times. You are 100% responsible for your mental health. It is your responsibility to take care of yourself. Your parents might not be able to help you, your siblings might not be able to help you, but you have to take care of yourself. Speak to someone, get help.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for
You're
that.
welcome.
So, for our viewers that are watching, if you are depressed, if you're feeling depressed, if you're seeing the symptoms, you need to get help. Yes, the number is on the screen already. You need to get help. You need to talk to someone. Don't isolate yourself. It's not the end of the world. No, it's not the end of the world. When you listen to other people's story, you thank God for your own life. So it is one life, just one life. So you don't need to take your life. Suicide is not an option. If you're feeling depressed, you need to speak to someone, get help. You can send a message on WhatsApp on 08059440855. The lines will be open to receive your text
No,
message. And
59440885.
okay, 59.
59440885. Double for
Okay, not
double eight.
55.
No.
Okay. I think okay, that'll be corrected. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you so much. You don't need
You're
to
welcome, ma'am.
die in silence. You need to speak out, speak to someone.
Someone.
That's the only way you
Thank
can
you.
overcome depression. Speak to someone about it. And in speaking to someone about it, you shouldn't speak to just anybody. You shouldn't speak to someone that will even add to your depression. Yes. So you need to speak to the right person, to the right set of people. And I pray that God help us in Jesus' name. You don't need to
Amen.
isolate yourself. It makes depression worse. Thank you so much, sir, for your time, for
It's a
honoring
pleasure to
this
be here.
invitation. So grateful. So right now, we're saying bye-bye on the show. You join us same time next week on Peculiar Youth Connect. I remain your host, Tosin Adeyemi. Bye.